Sometimes the people you meet are more than just people. Sometimes they're capable of commanding the lightning and the thunder in the sky. And sometimes they could end up being thunderers.
Thunderers are a race of immortal beings that live among the clouds and sky. They're capable of controlling lightning and thunder with the best of them, and they look just like regular people. In fact, they are so indistinguishable from regular people, one man almost ended up marrying a thunderer's sister. They are said to be descendants of the Corn Mother, Selu. There's also another group called the Thunder Boys, but they're actually considered to be completely separate from the Thunderers. The Thunder Boys are said to be part of the sacred mythic era, while the Thunderers are part of the material world. So you could end up running into a Thunderer and not even realize it.
In the old times, the Cherokee people would have dances, and one night during one of their dances, a young warrior had noticed a flash of light in the sky, and then the sound of thunder afterwards. Now, not long after this, two beautiful girls showed up to this dance, and nobody knew where they came from. They danced with one after another, and our young warrior had just fallen in love with the younger of the two girls. It was actually partially due to her hair. Now, he actually ends up asking her to marry her, and she said she had a brother, and he needed to be consulted first, and that they would be back in 7 days for the next dance. While the week was passing, the warrior was also asked to fast during this time as a showing of his love and constancy. And he did so, and he impatiently counted the days until his potential bride would again show up. And indeed she did show up to the next dance. So after the week had gone by, he meets up with a beautiful girl again, and they start dancing while her sister dances with several other people. Eventually, towards the end of the dance, the two women had told him that it was time for him to meet their brother, and they left going into a trail into the forest that the young warrior had never noticed was there. As they walked this trail, they came to a small creek where the girls immediately stepped into. The warrior had noticed them just casually jumping into the water as if it were normal, but he was kind of weary of this. He thought to himself, I really don't want to step into this creek. And it was as though they were reading his mind, and they told him, this isn't a creek, it's a path to our home. So he was still a little hesitant, but after some convincing, eventually he began to walk with them through the creek, and he found that they were right. It wasn't a creek full of water, but a trail full of lush, soft grass beneath his feet. They kept walking, and as he was warned about not telling anyone about this place, the creek had become a large river, the Tallulah River, actually, and he started to be a little bit more concerned. Stepping into a creek is one thing, but walking through a raging river is quite different. So he began to worry, but again, the girls told him, this isn't water, but the main trail that leads to our home. She said they were very close, so he decided to just try it, and he found that the river around his body had turned to grass, that as he walked deeper into the river, it would become taller and taller grass. Eventually, the grass reached up above his head, and he continued to follow them until they reached a cave beneath Tallulah Falls. The women entered, but again, the warrior was fearful of what he would find. But he mustered up the bravery and stepped through the waterfall and realized this was the entrance of their home. Now, as he stood there and looked at his beautiful potential bride, she removed her hair and placed it upon a rock. I thought it was pretty unbelievable. One of the main reasons he had fallen in love with her was because of her beautiful hair, which he had now found to be fake. And it said that her head was as smooth as a pumpkin, but hey, it's just hair. He decided to stay and go through with this because she was still very, very beautiful. After his potential bride had hung up her hair, she sat down atop a large living turtle. Her sister sat beside her, and the turtle stood up and stretched out its arms as though it was angry for being disturbed. They told him to sit down, but he said, no, that's okay, that turtle looks angry, I'll just stand. They went back and forth about him sitting on the turtle until he heard another crash of lightning. It was the brother of the two girls. The brother comes in and sits down on the turtle, and again, it looks like it's being bothered and is all upset and angry. And still the warrior refuses to come in and sit down. He's standing at the entrance of the cave this entire time. So the brother tells him that he was about to go to a council, and the warrior was welcome to join him. And he said that he would, it's just that he didn't have a ride to go. So the thunderer goes and grabs his own ride that he can borrow, a giant red snake, an Uktena, one of the most powerful creatures of Cherokee folklore. And then the sisters go and grab their albino giant Uktena. So at this point, he's just done with the whole situation. They try to give him a saddle and straps to ride the snakes along with, but As he gets the saddle and the straps, he realizes that they are also just more giant snakes. So the warrior runs out and runs back to his village, almost having a heart attack, and tells them everything that he saw and everything that he went through. And he had completely forgotten about the warning. He wasn't supposed to tell anyone about this, because if he did, he would surely die in 7 days. And a week after returning, the young warrior did in fact die.
This isn't to say that Thunderers are violent or dangerous beings that just seek to destroy and harm humans. From what I gather with this story, they're actually quite kind and accepting of ordinary people, but they're not ordinary in the least. If this is a look into their lives, they are powerful beings capable of controlling powerful creatures, like the Uktena, which I actually have an older video I made on. The Uktena is a powerful and deadly serpent that you don't want to run into, so now you have two options. Check out the video on the Uktena or take YouTube's suggestion and watch the other video. Either way, I'll see you there.